Miss Huda got the girls real confused with this one. The reviews are giving very much mixed, baby, and I think I know why. Girl, you are doing it wrong. Hey girl, what's up? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Faye, and for today's video, I'm going to be reviewing and demoing the new Huda Beauty Easy Bake and Snatch Setting Powder. The girls have been giving very much mixed reviews on this new launch, and I think I have a pretty good idea why. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you an overview of the product, of course applying it to my skin, showing you the correct way to do so, and then giving you my final thoughts and review on the product overall. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and without further ado, let's get into the review. So I went ahead and zoomed you guys in a little bit, and we're jumping straight into complexion. First up is primer. You guys already know I'm going in with this one from Milk Makeup. This is the Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer. I like this primer because it gives me a nice smooth base, but also mattifies the skin and preps it for the makeup that I'm going to be applying on top. And I do have quite a bit of texture on the skin currently, so I'm going to go in with one additional smoothing primer. This one is from Cali Ray. This is the So Blown Blurring Primer. Absolutely love this one. It does help control oil a little bit, but it does a great job of just blurring and filling in the pores. Okay, so now that the skin is primed, we can jump straight into foundation. I went ahead and pulled up some foundations that I have from Huda Beauty. I have two. I've used the stick foundation before on my channel. I believe I have a full review, so I'll link that for you guys if you're interested. But I haven't used the liquid foundation in a minute, so I think I'm gonna go in with this one just to see if I'm still into it. So this is the Faux Filter Luminous Matte Foundation. It's full coverage, and I'm using the shade Gingerbread 430N. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that all over the skin and blend it out. Okay, the foundation is fire. Let me know if you want to see a full review and wear test on this. I don't think I have one of those up on my channel for this specific foundation. The color match is perfection. It's a little tiny bit warm, but for the most part, I think by the time I'm done with all of my makeup, it'll look really good. So next up, we're going into the under eyes. We're about to get everything prepped for the powder that we're going to be trying out today. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in with this e.l.f. color correcting eye brightener. I will have the shade that I have listed for you guys down below because it's not listed on the product, but I'm just going to apply that underneath my eyes to brighten and correct before we go in with concealer. So next up is concealer. I don't have the one from Huda Beauty. Let me know if you have it down below how you like it, if I should pick it up. But in the meantime, I'm going to be using my favorite from Too Faced, the Born This Way Multi-Sculpting Concealer in the shade Sand. Okay, concealer is applied, complexion is prepped and ready for powder, so let's go ahead and get into the reason why you guys are here, the new setting powder. So this is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake and Snatch Pressed Talc-Free Brightening and Setting Powder. It retails for $38 and there are 8 shades. I picked mine up in the shade Blondie, and just a few of the claims: it is cruelty and fragrance free. It's a pressed powder formula, obviously. It's supposed to have a natural finish, medium coverage, and also have hyaluronic acid. It claims to be a creamy, hydrating, non-comedogenic pressed powder designed for targeted brightening, lifting, and setting for medium coverage and a natural finish. Okay, so let's just get into the correct way to use this powder, okay? I have been seeing a lot of people picking up this powder and then saying they don't like it and they're taking it back to the store, and I think the root of that issue is that it is being used incorrectly. This is a brightening powder. Yes, it sets the under eye as well, but it is supposed to be used for places, literally as the name suggests, that you want to brighten, lift, and snatch. It's not supposed to be used for baking. It's not supposed to be used for like full setting of the face. It is specifically for areas that you want to brighten, lift, and snatch. So let me show you the correct way to use it. So I went ahead and pulled out these powders. Keep in mind that when brands come out with new products, typically they are products that are supposed to be used along with other products that they have within their product line, or within their product line. So my thought process from videos I've seen on Huda Beauty's page, and also just from reading the instructions on how to use this new powder, is that it's supposed to be used in conjunction with these. So I'm going to use, I think, the shade Blondie. And I did also, like I said, pick up this shade in Blondie, but because this one is a brightening powder, I think this one is going to sit on the skin a little bit brighter than this one in Banana Bread, for example. So actually, I'm gonna use Banana Bread and then we're gonna top it off with this one. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go in with the loose setting powder. Like I said, I decided on the shade Banana Bread, which is a little bit lighter than Blondie. I think the two of them will work together nicely. And then we'll go in and actually brighten and lift the face with the new powder. Okay, so this is how the face is looking with the loose setting powder. We are doing a little bit of a bake. I did go ahead and set the concealer, but in the middle of my face, we are baking just a little bit. For the sake of time, I'm gonna go off camera, do my brows, and just do a really quick basic beat. And then I'm gonna come back and show you guys how to correctly use this powder to actually snatch and lift the face. Okay, so the rest of my face for the most part is on. Like I said, I didn't do anything too crazy. I just set the rest of my foundation with a powder foundation and applied my bronzer, blush, and some highlight. Of course, put my brows on, and that's it. So now that we have the face done, this is looking pretty good, you know, for a typical face. But now we're gonna kick it up a notch with this product. So I forgot to mention to you guys earlier, if you open up the back, there's actually a little sponge. I'm not gonna use this because I have another one that I'm gonna use. But if you don't have one of these, there is one included in here. And the back of this, you can see it has holes in it. So if you wet this or use it damp, it can kind of air out and dry in the back. So I thought that was kind of innovative. I've never seen that before. But I'm gonna use my little powder puff from Beauty Blender for this step. Now, obviously, you can use this powder however you want to use it, but just keep in mind, like I said, the girlies have been using this just straight dipping in and baking under their eye like how they would normally use a regular setting powder, and it has not been giving. So I'm just showing you guys how I would use it, how I think it was intended to be used, so that if you do purchase it, you won't use it and absolutely hate it, potentially because you're not using it right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So like I said, I'm gonna use my little powder puff from Beauty Blender. So the way that I like to do this actually is I like to set my face first. So I do this step pretty regularly in my makeup routine. I normally use the powders from Makeup Forever. If you've been watching my videos, you've seen me do this before. But what I typically like to do is lightly set my face first. I'm gonna be using this setting spray from Urban Decay. This is their Vitamin C setting spray. I like this one because it's gonna be hydrating, but it's also going to set and melt the powders that we've applied on the face so far. And then once that's like probably 80% dry, I'm gonna go in with the pressed powder. So I'm just gonna dip my little sponge into the product. And I'm gonna pick up a good amount, but not too much. So that's what it looks like. I'm gonna tap it on the back of my hand just to really get it distributed nicely into the little puff. And then I'm gonna go in and snatch the face. So I'm gonna do this side of my face first so that you guys can see the comparison, and then we'll do the other side. And I'm actually just gonna switch over to this sponge that I use to apply the setting powder. I think I'm gonna like this a little bit better than what I was just using. So again, just applying it right under the eye. And then I'm also going to run it right up under my contour to clean that up as well. So you see this side of the face is looking much brighter, much more lifted, snatched, chiseled, compared to this side, which is giving, it doesn't look bad, but it just looks a little more, I guess, natural, less highlighted, less lifted, less snatched compared to this side. So one side versus the other side. So let's go ahead and do the other side. Yeah, I definitely like how this side is coming out better using the sponge compared to this side using this little powder puff. So it's kind of up to you, whatever you prefer to use. Normally when I do this step, I use one of these, but I was trying out the powder puffs because it's more similar to the little puff that comes in this palette. But I should have just stuck to what I know I like, which is using a sponge. And then I'm just gonna use whatever's left on here to go over the other areas that I highlighted. Okay, so this is what the face is looking like. Again, much more bright in this area, much more lifted and cleaned up underneath the contour. And then what I like to do after that is just take my powder brush. There's no additional product on this brush. This is the brush that I use to set the rest of my face. And I just like to go over everything and blend everything together. So that's what that's looking like. And then last but not least, we're just gonna set the rest of the face. And for that, I'm going in with my MAC Fix Plus Stay Over Setting Spray. And then while that's drying down, I'm going to quickly do my lip, and then I'll come back and show you guys the finished look. All right, you guys, I am back. The lip is on. If you're curious, I'm wearing the Makeup Forever Limitless Brown, and I top that off with Huda Beauty's Dream Matte Liquid Lipstick in Day Slayer. And then on top for the gloss, I'm wearing Tower 28 Cashew. All of the products that I use throughout this video, of course, will be listed and linked for you guys down below in the description box. But this is how the face is looking. Skin is looking very flawless. Under eye is looking illuminated and brightened. Contour is snatched, and I'm living for it. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see. I'm gonna try to come up closer. I'm not sure if the camera will do it any justice, but this powder does have a slight bit of luminosity. I don't know, again, if the camera will pick it up at all, but I can see when I look really closely at my skin, like underneath here where I set, I can see like the slightest bit of like a luminous vibe from the powder. So if you're not into that, just something that you may want to consider if you've been on the fence about purchasing this. But overall, if you have been in the market for what is essentially a brightening powder, something to highlight, to sculpt, to lift, to snatch your face, then I would definitely recommend this to you guys. Again, it does come in basically all of the same shades that the loose powder comes in. So you can pair the two of them together. One to set the face, and then of course one to actually lift, highlight, and sculpt the face if that's something that you are into. And honestly, just looking at my face, even in the viewfinder, like underneath my contour, it's giving very much like snatched, okay? So I hope this video helped to shed some light on the overall thought process behind this new powder and the best way to use it if you want to get the most out of it. If you've been on the fence about picking up this powder, let me know down below in the comments if this video helped you out. If it did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.